welcome back to RC Icons. So in today's video, it's part 2 of the triple Falcon giveaway. Yes! I'm going to bless 3 of you viewers with restored Falcons, and it all starts now. So in this video, we're restoring 3 chassis. Huh? Yeah. We're going to restore 3 chassis. So this one might be a little bit long, but I'll try to trim it down as much as possible. So yes, we've got 3 chassis and a huge box of parts to get done in this one video. And in the next video, we're going to do 3 body sets. This one is original, and I've got a new body set, original body set as well. So 2 of these cars will have original bodies. And then the booby prize, the 3rd one, will be a TBG body. I have enough original decals to just about get all of the bodies done. So you'll get original decals on all 3 cars, 2 original bodies, and 1 TBG body. I almost had a 3rd original body. I was this close, but I couldn't make the deal happen. Seller out of Singapore, and we were like $20 off, but it was a lot of money. And, you know, at some point you just got to, enough is enough, right? Couldn't give the guy the satisfaction, to be completely honest. One of my bumper deals from the first video, I had talked about how I had 2 new front bumpers. Well, one of the bumper deals fell apart too. So I've got 1 new bumper, so the number 1 car will be 100% mint. The other ones I'll do the best I can with, maybe sanding out a bumper here or there, trying to get them the best that I can. But in all honesty, these things are going to be so close to mint that it is what it is. Whoever wins them, source a bumper at some point, and you'll have a mint car. So I'm going to bring the camera over real quick. I want to show you a new unbox kit. I do have 2 new unbox kits. That's the whole reason we're getting rid of these 3. I don't need them. So I've got 2 new unbox kits. I've got this one and I've got another one. But I want to show you what the presentation of the kit was at the time that the Falcon was released. Just real quick, show you the presentation of the kit, and then we're going to get into restoring these 3 chassis. So as always, we want to pay homage to the original box art. I apologize for the lighting and the glare. So that's your box art cover. Just absolutely stunning as always. And then if you were to buy this kit new, this is what you'd be looking at when you opened it up. Right? So we have our body and chassis in the middle. Our decals and our manual are underneath. And then we've got our blister packs on the left. We've got our pinion gear, our front uprights, our cross wrench, our speed control, shock oil. Looks like hinge pin screws. And then our RS540 motor with the black end bell, and then we've got our original tires. And then on this side we've got some of our plastics. So we've got our driver figure, our rear arms, the infamous front bumper that I've been looking for, and then we've got rear gearbox and our yellow plastics. So if you remember from the first video, I've got 3 new sets of the yellow plastics for the new cars, and then so these kits are still taped on both sides. It's never been opened. Boom. So we've got our original wheels, the infamous rear wheels. We've got all our hardware in there, our front arms. We've got our gears, and then we've got our wing and our speed control cover. I do have 3 speed control covers, but I don't know that I have 3 speed controls. So the Falcon came with bushes, but I've got 3 fast eddy bearing sets. So we're going to make it fully ball raced. And then this is what happens with old kits, right? There's your grease, but the whatever it was, it may have been Velcro or something, double-sided tape is completely decomposed. We've got our shock sets, and then we've got our hardware bags. So, pretty cool. So yeah, that's our new in-box kit, or one of our new in-box kits. So let's get this put away and put off to the side. Sorry for any noise. Let's get this put off to the side, and I'm going to start unloading my box of parts here from the first video. Actually, I'll show that real quick while I have you up. So this is my box of parts, and it's literally heaped. So there's new front bumper, new rear gear cases, another set of gear cases. Like I said, 3 sets of the yellow plastics. So all 3 cars will get new yellow plastics. Set of rear wheels, another set of rear wheels, and tires. And then we've got 3 new sets of front wheels and tires. We've got 2 brand new chassis for 2 of the cars. We've got our original decals. And then we've got, so this, another set of brand new rears and another set of brand new rears. I only need 1 set for the 3rd car, and then I'm going to have to try to find, I've got a ton of wheels and tires in here, but I'm going to clean up and try to find 2 decent rears, because I'm going to have to salvage 2 rears. And then, sorry, it's Team JB Hobbies are the bearing kits. I thought they were Fast Eddie. So there's 3 bearing kits there, and then this is essentially the 3rd Falcon. And then in this heap, I do have somewhat marginal manual that I'll work off of. So let's get this started. Put this over there. So I'm going to start breaking down these cars. So one of these cars, this one doesn't have a motor. I'm really not worried about the electrics. This is more about the cars than anything else. I can get rid of the decals. This is more about the cars, so I'm not really worried about motors. If the car has a motor, I'll put a motor back in it. If it doesn't, then I'm not going to. This one has a white end bell motor. I'm not sure if some of the Falcons came with whites, but I know that new in-box kit has a black end bell. But so this one has a speed control in it already with 2 servos. I'm going to leave those in there. But if this one doesn't have electrics in it, then it's just going to stay the way it is, just to make life easier. So this is more about the cars than it is the electrics. If I can make a mint roller for them, then that's what I'm going to do. And that's how they'll get it. That one might need a front bulkhead, but we'll take a look at it and we'll go from there. I'll bring you back when I've got something to show you. So I figured I would bring you back. So I've got the number 1 car taken apart. Well, the rear end of it. The gearbox is off. I want to change the yellow parts. So we're actually finding some stuff here, which is good because I don't want to give somebody a basket case. I've got a broken rear arm where the hinge pin goes through, right? So we'll get that changed. This one is cracked, so it's about to break. So I do have sets of rear arms here. I'm not sure how many do I have rear arms here. Thought I had rear arms here. I've got rear arms here somewhere. All 3 front lower bulkheads are broken, which is pretty standard with these. I just ordered 2 new sets of Tamiya front bulkheads, and I ordered a 3D printed one. And I'll leave it up to whoever wins these cars to, if they want to swap. If they want to swap that rear bulkhead, they can. I mean that front bulkhead for the 3D printed one, they can, but that's completely up to them. I don't know that that one comes out. So I'm just ball racing the rear gearbox, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like 4 bearings going in the rear gearbox. maybe 5. No, that's not a bearing. That's just a plastic. Let me just find the rear gearbox real quick here. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 bearings going in the rear gearbox of car number 1. And then at the same time, we'll take care of the yellow plastics. I'm glad I did take it apart. There's the set screw for the pinion. There's the motor with the pinion missing. It was just floating around in the gearbox. So I'm glad I took it apart. Always thread lock your pinion set screws. Always, always, always. Just use thread lock blue if you need to. The other thing that I noticed on this car, the rear body mount, one side is cracked. And I've got 2 sets of rear body mounts here. So yeah, I'm probably going to have to get back on eBay and order up some rear arms. Because I do have 2 good ones here, but they belong to car 3. And I don't want somebody to inherit a problem. It's a known weak spot with these hinge pins. These are... Tammy, I always used these hinge pins with the thread at the top, and then the rest of it was a pin. And where that thread's in, just like on the Thundershot, that's Terra Scorcher, any hinge pins that are like this with Tamiya, it's a known weak spot, and they always let go for some reason. And then I also noticed, I'm not sure about on that car, but I can see on this car, the front C-hub is cracked. Same situation with the hinge pins. I do have 2 sets of those already. This one's cracked right there. That's for car 3 as well. But no big deal. We're gonna press on. I'm gonna get a bearing bag opened here. Get this gearbox sealed. I'm not gonna show you all 3 gearboxes, but I wanted to at least show you one. So essentially, this is your gear diff for the Falcon, right? So, and then your out drives go. Oops. Your out drives go into that gear diff. It's got great grease on it. It just wasn't ball raced. So I'm glad I took it apart and I'm able to ball race it. So right, so there's your diff. And then if you're not familiar with the Falcon, so the car 1 actually has metal dog bones. They must be aftermarket, but they're huge. But they're all metal. Whereas the kit came with plastic. So we'll put the metal ones back into car number 1. I'll get these ball bearings into this gearbox and we'll press on. And I'll order more parts. That's alright, I'm happy to do it. This kind of stuff makes me happy. Building up 3 Falcons to give them away makes me happy. So I'm happy to do it. If the parts are available, I'll buy the parts. But not all of these parts are available. So it kind of is what it is. I can only buy what I can buy. But I'm not chinsing out. I spent a ton of money on a brand new body kit for car number 1. So hopefully someone will be happy with that. So that's 3. That's 4. So I'm going to get this screwed back together, get the new set of yellow plastics put on, and get this rear gearbox mounted back to the car. Alright, so I brought you back. So this is the one with the white end bell motor. Number 1, the gearbox is back together. It's got the yellow cover on it now. It had a Blackfoot or an ORV motor cover on it before, but it left a big gap. A D battery or a C battery, doesn't matter which. Always check your gearbox before you put it in the car. Hold it to one side. Let's see if I can do this here. Right, you guys can hear that turning. I can see my outdrive spinning nice. No crunching noises. easy failsafe. If you're ever building a semi-truck, I build semi-trucks. If you're ever building a semi-truck with a 3-speed, when you're done in transmission, fire the motor off with a C or a D battery. They're 1.5 volts. And check your shifting on the transmission. You can just pull and push on the rod. Make sure your transmission's good before you bury that thing in the truck. Just take it from me. Don't put it in the truck not knowing and then have to rip half the truck apart to get the transmission out because you screwed something up. Just a little tip. Alright, so I got the rear end of car number 1 put back together. You can see it's absolutely mint. So what I did was I took it completely apart because it needed to get bearings in there. And what did I find when I took that completely apart? Here's one of the rear arms that was broken. I think I showed it to you in one of the clips earlier. There's your 4 bushes that came out. Bearings went in. And one of the wheel adapters was snapped in half in there. So that's what was broken. And then what did I change? I changed the 2 shock mounts. So I changed the other arm, obviously, but it's not broken. So we might end up having to use that on another car. We might end up having to use these on another car. So there was just 2 tiny little scratches, one on each top post of the rear shock mounts. So those come on the rear arm trees. No, I'm sorry. Those come on the gearbox tree. So I took 2 brand new ones and put them on there, and I'm just putting them in the good pile because eventually I may end up having to get into some of these parts for car number 3. So now I'm going to start the front end of car number 1. So this is the front bumper of car number 1. Now you can see those scratches are real light. There's nothing like really deep. So that's the bumper I was talking about being able to sand out. This is the bumper from car number 3, and you can see it's way worse, right? So this car is getting the new bumper. So this bumper is going to go in the parts pile. And then at one point this front bulkhead, so this is the bulkhead that I was talking about in video, I guess it's 2 now, it was 3 and this was 2, but this is the front bulkhead that always snaps. So the bumper mounts to that, and that front tab always snaps. In fact, on car number 2 you can see it. There's a huge gap in here, right? Because it's literally snapped right off. Just a terrible spot. Like just picking up the car, you can snap that front bulkhead. It's a known weak point. So I've got 2 original Tamiya lower front bulkheads, but this is the 3D printed one that I bought. So it looks exactly the same, only it looks way stronger. Like way stronger. So we'll have to see how that does. That's going to go on car number 3. And I'm going to put the original stuff back on car number 1 just because I'm trying to keep it all Tamiya and all mint. So I'm going to rip this front bulkhead apart and see what I see. I know already, I think there's I'm pretty sure that there's a C-hub that might be cracked. And then I thought I saw something else. One of the upper shock mounts might be cracked. This one looks like it's cracked. So there'll be some parts coming off this front end for sure. And then I did not rebuild the shocks on this car because they feel great. I did check to make sure the oil was up to snuff, and it is. But the shocks themselves feel great, so I'm just going to leave them alone just for sake of time. So let me get this ripped apart, and I'll bring you back when I've got something to show you. Alright, so you'll probably see this when I build the other 2 cars. But there wasn't really actually anything broken on the front except for that front bulkhead. So this is it right here. So you can see where it's cracked right there. See it moving. You can see my finger in between. So the guy had glued it. Whoever owned it before glued it, and it's actually held up pretty well. But the way that these upper and lower bulkheads work is they essentially just sandwich on top of each other like that, and then there's 2 screws that hold them together, and then this sandwiches the chassis, right? Boom. So the whole front end is basically I can't say the word. Compartmentalized. Compartmental. There we go. Sorry about that, a little bit mental block. So yeah, basically this just sandwiches in 2 screws on the top, 2 screws with the bumper on the bottom, and then 2 more screws going into the lower bulkhead with nuts. And that's it. That's the front end. And that's probably why these front ends were so fragile. But easy to replace. 4 screws take the whole thing off, and now, you know, now you're working with everything off of the table, and you're just literally putting it together. So the shock mounts are also your hinge pin holders. I don't have new ones, so hopefully I've got 3 sets that are all good. Actually, I do. They're on the rear tree. They're right here, dummy. I do have 3 sets. So I did not change those, although I may change them real quick right now while I have this off. I am going to change them real quick right now because I do want this car to be mint. So I had them here to change them and then totally missed it. What I don't have is the arms, front arms. I've got the C-hubs. I don't have any front arms, but I do have these. So hopefully all the front arms will be all right. And this is a spare upper bulkhead, which usually never breaks. It's always the lower. But we'll take a look. This one was fine. If I find one that is scratched or what have you, then we'll change it. So let me get this put back together, get this car done, and we're going to move on to tearing the other one down, because those are going to get built up piece by piece, and that's really what this video should be about. So I figured I'd bring you back for this momentous occasion. Car feels good. Original body. Car number 1, chassis number 1 is 100% complete and 100% mint. How sweet is that? All original decals. Perfect. I'm gonna keep going here and get chassis 2 and 3 done. Taking the other 2 apart, I'm gonna have to order 1 set of front arms, which isn't a big deal. They're available, so I'll order them, and if I have to, I'll pinch them out of my new unboxed kit that I'm building and then replace them when the other ones come in. So that's 2 Falcons ready to go into the ultrasonic cleaner. Now there's a bunch of parts in here that are actually not even getting used. I'm putting 2 brand new gear cases on. The chassis, the rear hinge pin supports, I've got 2 sets of those, so I won't be using those. 2 sets of yellow plastic, so all of those yellow plastics aren't being used, but I figured I would throw them through this ultrasonic cleaner anyways. And then I'll find somebody to donate the parts to, all the leftover parts. Both chassis are fine. They could both be runner chassis. There's nothing broken on them, right? So those could be reused if somebody needed a chassis for a Blitzer Beetle, a Stadium Thunder, a Stadium Blitzer, a Bear Hawks, or a Falcon. They all share the same chassis, which is why the Falcon chassis are still available. It's nice that the Blitzer Beetle was reread again last year because a whole new slew of Falcon chassis came out. You can pick them up, I think, 15 bucks, right? So it allows us to keep restoring. So I'm going to have to use, these are the 2 bumpers I'm going to have to use. Kind of is what it is. The 3rd bumper that came off the car, A, it's broken. B, it got really hot and melted at the bottom here. I don't know what happened. And then this bulkhead was pretty broken. I was wondering where that sticker was. When I did the bodies, I kept seeing a sticker on a decal sheet, and I'm like, I know I've seen that before. It goes on the bumper, so I'll make sure I put them on the bumper. And then on the motor cover, the yellow motor cover, it's supposed to say sealed gearbox. So I'll make sure I put those on too. But someone had taken servo screws. I don't even know what the hell I did with them. They're right here. So sometimes you get these wood screws with servos. It's hard to see, but and they had put 4 extra screws into that bulkhead when the front broke. So that's basically trashed. I know there's a subscriber that had messaged me looking for a bumper. You know, one of the leftover ones, he wanted to try to sand it and stuff. And if he, you know, I'll send him pictures. If he wants it, he can have it. But it's basically garbage. And I wish I had something better. I mean, even this one, right? Both hooks are shot on that side. So kind of is what it is. It's the one part you really can't get. I had one coming out of France. The guy was on vacation and he didn't have it under international shipping. So I tried to buy it. And he didn't have it listed to ship to the U.S. So I messaged him, and I'm like, "Listen, I hit buy it now. It won't let me pay. I need you to change it to international shipping. Will you ship to the U.S.?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll ship to the U.S." I'm like, "Okay." Next day comes, nothing. Second day comes, nothing. I text him back. I message him back. I'm like, "Can you please?" I'm like, "I really want to buy this. Like, I'll pay double. I don't care. I need that bumper." And he's like, "Well, I'm on vacation." I'm like, "Yeah, but you're emailing me. So then if you can email me, then you're capable of changing a setting on eBay. Like, please do it so that I can buy it." 3 more days goes by. I check and it's not listed anymore. So I email him. I'm like, "What happened?" He's like, "Oh, somebody else bought it." I'm like, "Dude, for 5 days I was begging you to change that over." He's like, "Well, there's nothing I can do about it now. He's bought it. I'm shipping it to him." I'm like, "Thanks, man." You know, so that really kind of put a damper on what I was trying to do here. It's not a blessing if I send people cars that are junk. That, to me, that's not a blessing. Now, somebody else, they would probably welcome that car with open arms, even though it's a basket case. But I want to bless people, and I don't. For me, you know, like, people probably think I'm crazy to be storing these cars before I give them away. Whatever. Like, I want to give somebody a nice car. George Stewart was psyched when he got that Egress. It was absolutely perfect. Gorgeous. You know what I mean? Like, that, when you open a box and it's just a totally refurbished car sitting there, or as close as I could get it, like, stellar, maybe one part needs to be replaced, that's a giveaway, dude. Like, that's what I'm trying to do here. So, to get off my rant about the eBay guy, but so this is all of my hardware for the 2 cars. So I'm gonna get this soaking. I'm gonna get this soaking in Dawn and water. I use Dawn because it just breaks down the grease well. I mean, if they can clean birds off and after an oil spill with it, then it can absolutely clean my hardware. So I'm gonna let this soak for a day or so in Dawn and water, and then get the rest of these bushes out of here. And then this is going in ultrasonic cleaner right now. So yeah, I'll bring you back when I've got clean parts. The shocks I'm going to do separate. I'm just going to build the shocks off camera. I'm going to get them ripped apart in an ultrasonic cleaner in a separate container. But yeah, let me bring you back as soon as I've got some clean parts, and we'll start building these cars. Alright, so I figured I would bring you back. So I put all the plastic parts through the ultrasonic cleaner, and you can see these were covered with grease. These cars were dirty. These were the 2, the yellow one and the pink one, and the pink one was in a Ziploc bag, and they were obviously used, but the parts came out absolutely beautiful. So I use 50/50 simple green and water in my ultrasonic cleaner, and I try not to put alloy parts in there, but stuff like this I shove in there for 30 minutes, and I put it at 40 degrees Celsius. So after cleaning the parts, I inspected all of the plastics as well. Parts that I saw that were broken when I disassembled car number 2, I had already tossed those to the side along with the bushes, so we have a pile over here. I had a wheel adapter that was broken. And then, like I said before, all 4 C-hubs on car 2 and 3 were cracked, which is fine because I have 4 C-hubs on the gearbox trees right here. So I have the parts to replace those. I did mention in one of the earlier segments that I didn't have any front arms, and I actually have 3 arms that are cracked. This one's cracked, but only on one side. So these 2 are cracked, and it's a right and a left. So I'm actually going to toss those. I ordered a set of upper arms on eBay, and I took these, I pinched these out of my new in-box kit. So I'm going to have to use this cracked one for car number 3. It is what it is. You know, whoever gets it can source an arm at some point. It's going to hold fine. It's not cracked all the way through. It's only on one side, but it is cracked. If I find another set of arms, I'll ship it to whoever the guy is that wins it, whoever wins it. But I'm gonna use my new arms out of my kit to build up car number 2, so that way I'm not sending 2 cars out with broken arms. And then a lot of these parts, all the yellow parts, I mean, they came out absolutely gorgeous. If you've never had an ultrasonic cleaner, they're definitely worth their money. The one I have is a 4-gallon unit, which is a larger one, and it was $200 on Amazon shipped. But it's absolutely worth its weight in gold. I mean, when you look at the parts, come out like literally like brand new. Now, obviously, it's not going to get rid of scratches, but as far as dirt and grime and stuff, I mean, these were covered in grease and dirt and grime, and they literally look brand new. Yeah, they're absolutely worth their weight in gold. So I've got all the hardware is clean and in a bag, or Tupperware here. I did at one point order a new pin bag because I was missing one of the body mounts. And the body, there's one for the battery tray and there's one for the front body mount. And so I needed that. So I ordered the pin bag because that's what it comes in. So I have more pins than I need. I've got more hardware than I need, but I have a feeling I'm going to be missing some specific hardware size-wise because I am going to build it to the manual. So what I'm going to do is, and I know this isn't vintage, but I just built my TD2 off camera, and I used all blue hardware on it, like I did my TC01. So I have my TD2 hardware. There's a ton of it in here as far as screws goes. When I get to the end, now unfortunately I'm not going to be able to separate 2 and 3, but when I get to the end, if I'm missing hardware or need hardware, I'm going to have to go to that. So it is what it is. So let's get started here. The manual starts with the electronics or the electrics, and I'm not doing the electrics, but I'm going to put, so I'll put the mechanical speed control bracket, that will go in. I do have one set of servo mounts that will go in, right? So there's certain parts that if I have them, I'm going to put them in. If I don't have them, it is what it is, because that comes on the A tree, which is the bumper. You're not gonna find it, but you'll find servo mounts at some point, and you can, there's certain parts that you'll be able to find. You're probably just not gonna find a bumper. So we're just gonna start here. It's really on like step. It's really on, so you can see. You can see the servo mounts to this arm, and you're putting together essentially the whole mechanical speed control onto that plate. I'm just going to mount the plate. So we're going to be starting here basically on step 9, where we start mounting the rear hinge pin mounts, and then we would be mounting electrics, and then we'll move forward from there. So I'll bring you back when I've got something to show you. I'm not going to go every single step, and then it goes into the shocks. We're doing the shocks last, but we're going to go with 9, 10, and then we're jumping to 15. So all right, so the chassis are prepped. I get the battery bracket in, speed control, mechanical speed control mount and cover is in. So one servo mounts here. This one does not have the steering servo mount, so this is car 3. Car 2 does have the steering servo mounts, but whoever wins car 3, Tamiya servo mount, eBay, $2, and you'll have them. Again, battery clip is in, and it's a clearer or newer mechanical speed control cover. So one of the commenters had asked me if I had an extra C4 part, and I told him I did, and I do. I think I actually have a brand new one as well. So I'm going to send this off. It's the battery clip. I think I have 2 of them. So he should be excited. I'll at least be able to get that for him. So let me keep moving forward. Like I said, I'm going to skip the shocks and I'm going to get moving forward with the front arm assembly. And like I said last time, the car is very compartmentalized, where the whole front end is going to get built and then we'll attach it to the car. So I'll bring you back when I've got that section built like I showed you with car number 1, and then we'll get them mounted. Alright, so I figured I would bring you back. So this is car number 2 done. Everything's moving nice and free. Those are Tamiya bulkheads with the new upper arms and original lower arms and original pins, uprights. So that's it put together. So this one is the front bulkhead put together with the 3D printed. Sorry, the dog's hitting the stand. With the 3D printed bulkhead. Doesn't have the holes drilled through it to mount the bumper, so I'm going to have to drill those holes. Everything else lined up absolutely perfect. So I'm going to mount the arms on now, so you can see the arms just mount on like that with your hinge pin style, just like the Thundershot and a lot of other Tamiya cars. So you literally just, which is why these arms always break. They always crack because that screw stresses the plastic. Let me get the right one here. This one. Apologize if you can hear my dog. She decided to come upstairs and raise hell right when I turn the camera on. Whoever wins car number, well, I guess 2 and 3. So these upper arms came out of my new box kit. Like I said, I had to pinch those out, and I have a set coming to replace them. I never realized it until I went to put this side together, that the uprights, I don't even know if they're called uprights, but you know, yeah, it's an upright. Though I didn't have the set for car number 3. Don't ask me why they weren't in there, but they weren't. So I just had to order a set of those, and I had to steal those out of my new unbox kit as well. And those were in a blister pack. So I'm literally cutting open the blister pack on my brand new kit so that I can get these cars put together for you guys. So that's 2 put together. So we're gonna move on. The next step is to actually mount, we're on step 19. Actually mount this bulkhead to the front chassis and then mount the bumper onto it. So I'm going to have to drill those holes through on car number 3, which is fine. And then we're going to start doing the rear gearbox. So I'll bring you back. I'm going to get these mounted to the chassis. I'll get the bumpers on it. It's really only 4 screws. And then I'll bring you back when I'm putting the rear gearbox together. Alright, rear gearbox time. I've got everything ready to go. It's all greased up. So we take the right side. It's got a pin that locates and then a bearing inside. The pin is greased and ready to go. So what do I have? We've got a drive cup. It's going to go on this side. We got a diff gear. It's going to locate on that drive cup. And then we have main gear is going to go in first. Dummy. So the main gear has to locate on that pin. And there's a bearing on the outside edge of that main gear. Then the diff gear. So that's one right side. So the next right side. Seeing as we're doing 2. Drive cup, diff gear. So now, on the left side, we've got a bearing again in here. We've got the other side of the drive cup. We've got the other diff gear. And then we've got the diff. I'm going to have to put the diff on this side though, because well, I'll just move the pin over. There's a small pin that connects the two diff gears on the inside. And that pin needs to be on the left side, not the right. So we can see, sorry, your diff working. So this needs to go in here. Drive cup, diff gear, diff. And again, your diff working all nice and greased. Now we have to mate the two. So we're going to take this side with this side. Check the diff. Yeah, feels good. Still feels good. So there's two, what are they? 12 millimeters. Self-tappers that hold it in place, and then there's three, what are they? 20 mil. There's 320 mil that go through, and there's a flange nut on the other side. So that's one. Nice and greasy. Mil, and these are both brand new gearboxes, the plastics. So the gearbox on car 1 was fine, not a mark on it, because it's pretty well protected anyways. It's got that yellow plastic skid plate that goes underneath it. So the two gearboxes that I had, I used for cars 2 and 3. Which is good, because one of them, when I took it apart, was actually broken. There's a huge hole in it. Let's see if I can find it here. Big hole in it. So it was good that I had them. So I'll put the 20 mil screws and nuts on, and then the next step would be mounting it to the car. We're not going to do that. We're just going to mount the yellow cover on, and then it's getting into putting the yellow plastics on, and then this module will essentially be done, and that can get mounted to the car. So I'll bring you back when we're getting ready to mount them. Alright, rear gear boxes are done. We're going to attach them. All the yellow plastics, obviously, like I said, are brand new. So these just go on with 4 12 millimeter self-tappers. Starting to look like cars again. One of them's totally resurrected from a freaking Ziploc bag. That's the best part about doing this stuff for me. I actually, you know, it's cool as hell for me to be able to bless 3 people with cars, but with this project, we took a car that's been sitting in a Ziploc bag for who knows how long, and resurrected it to be back on the road, which is cool as hell, right? So car that's been sitting in a bag for, who knows, 10 years, 15 years, and get it back on the road. And not only on the road, but I mean, short of the bumper, everything looks perfect. A little bit of rust on the screws here and there, but whatever, it is what it is. And the next owner, if they want to change hardware to make it look absolutely mint, go nuts. If you want to run it, go nuts. It's ready to go. Just don't hit anything. Or you will break that lower front bulkhead. I mean, quite honestly, if you wanted to run a Falcon, I would do what Gavin did and buy a bunch of Ampro Engineering replacement parts that are 3D printed, and then the front end is strong enough where it can take a shunt and not just shatter. But short of doing that, you're kind of at the mercy of 40-year-old plastics, and it's absolutely gonna break if you hit anything with that bumper. I wouldn't even pick these cars up by the bumper. They're that fragile. So next step is getting that rear arm assembly together, which is gonna mean the shocks. I'm gonna need the shocks, because the shocks actually hold that rear arm assembly up. I can get this on real quick while I'm sitting here. I don't know if it's the radio tray. I'm assuming it's the radio tray. And then it's just the upper shock mounts, which I've got right here as well. And they're going to hold the rear body posts in place. So I'm going to keep working away here. There's not much left, to be completely honest. So you've got these going on, which are your rear shock mounts. They go like so. It's a rear body mount. It's upside down, Keith. So they go on like that, and then it's just a matter of pinning your rear arms on, and your shocks go from your rear arms out, right? So it's like this. You really can't see it in the camera, but without having everything screwed in. So yeah, I'm going to keep pushing forward here and putting this together. I have a feeling I'm going to have to start going to black screws here pretty soon, because I'm just about out of my 12mm self-tappers, and kind of is what it is. At least the cars will be together. So I'll bring you back when I've got, I mean, I really can't show you much until the shocks are done and put together, and then I'm going to kind of show you the finished product here, because yeah, I'm going to have to dig out some hardware. I definitely want those for the other yellow one. So yeah, I'll bring you back when it's pretty much going to be the finished car at this point, maybe short of wheels and tires. But I'll see you in a second. Well, you see 3 Falcons. They're done. 1, 2, and 3. Whew! That was a lot of work. Car number 1. It's got the white M-Bell motor, original body, original decals, 100% mint. Car number 2, original body, 97% original decals, 100% mint. Other than the front bumper. New wheels and tires on both 1 and 2. The booby prize, car number 3. TBG body, original decals on the side, original decals on the wing. The 5s are original. The Falcon is original. A couple of Riri decals other than that. Completely mint. Other than the bumper and the rear wheels. But the rear wheels are actually in really good shape. One little nick down here in the corner and that's it. So 3 great representations of the Falcon, which is good because I didn't want to give away junk. So I'm still going to have to at some point before I ship these, and I've got plenty of time to do it, I'll get the hairdryer on the decals. Whew. But let me change the view for a closing, and I'll give you the details on how you can win one of these cars. So I hope you enjoyed the restorations of the 3 Falcons for the triple Falcon giveaway. It was a ton of work, but it was my pleasure to do it. To the point where I pinched parts out of my new in-box kit to finish car number 3. I've got parts coming in, I'll just throw them in there, it'll be fine. But I literally cut the blister packs and a new in-box kit to finish this car. Because it wasn't going to look very good without having front uprights and no front tires and wheels on it. Like I said in one of the previous clips, when I do giveaways, I'm going to restore these cars the best I can before I give them away. I'm not giving away projects. That's not my intention here. It's not to give you my garbage. I want to bless you guys with nice cars. So I'm going to restore them to the best of my ability to the point to where I bought a body set specifically for the giveaway. Now, Falcon body sets are not cheap. But I did it because I wanted to get these cars as original as possible. In fact, one of the sets of rear tires, wheels and tires, had come in about a month and a half ago, and I knew then that I was doing a triple Falcon giveaway. And I bought that set of wheels and tires specifically to restore these cars. I didn't need to do that. You saw how many Falcon wheels and tires I had. I could have just thrown those on, but I really wanted to get them as close to 100% as possible. And I didn't want the third prize winner, the booby prize, to be any less than the first prize, to be completely honest. So the fact that these have scratched bumpers, that's why they're getting extra body sets. I don't need those body sets laying around here. So yeah. Are you subscribed? Are you? My analytics say that only 40% of you are subscribed. You want to win a Falcon? Hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. If you don't have a Gmail account, email account, that's all you have to do to be a person on YouTube to actually subscribe. Open a Gmail account. It costs you nothing, even if you don't ever use it. That allows you to subscribe to channels on YouTube. It's very simple. I will absolutely check the winners to make sure that they're subscribers. I have a subscriber list. Now, I'm not doing that to be a jerk. I just think it's only fair that my subscribers are the ones that are winning these cars. So if you're not subscribed, please don't waste your time putting your name in. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I feel bad even saying that, but in all honesty, I want the cars to go to people that are supporting me 100%, and that's it. So subscribe, please. Turn your notifications on, because I want as many people to be in the running as possible. To the point to where if you want to win one of these Falcons, no question, email me at KeithMorency8, KeithMorency, the number 8 at gmail.com. And all you have to say is, I want a Falcon. And you're in the running. No questions. I don't want to eliminate anybody. Just simply email me, I want a Falcon, and you are in the running. And next Saturday, I don't even know what the date's going to be. So, geez, the 21st, like the 28th, I think it is. We're gonna do the giveaway on that Saturday morning at 8 a.m. That video will go out. So it's going to be a number generator, just like we did with the egress. Number 1 wins number 1, number 2 wins number 2, number 3 wins number 3. I will have your emails. I will email you back saying that you've won, although you will already have seen it on video. And I'll get your address, and I'm going to ship it out to you 100% free of charge. With that being said, you have to be 18, according to YouTube's rules, not my rules. So if you're a person under the age of 18, have your parents email me, not yourself. You have to be 18 years of age, and you have to follow the rest of YouTube's guidelines on giveaways. It's right on YouTube's page. By entering, you're accepting the fact that you're following YouTube's guidelines. KeithMorency8@gmail. My email is in my About section of my page. Let me bless you with a Falcon. And if you guys think that this was cool, if you guys think the triple Falcon giveaway was cool, wait till I get to my 959s. Subscribe, I'm telling you. You want to be a subscriber of this channel. Until next weekend when we give these cars away, I'll see you soon. Thank you.